Shit.
Unbelievable close calls, incredible encounters, heart-stopping chases, and shocking attacks. You never know when interactions with animals will drastically turn wild, so hold on tight to watch these terrific animal moments that no one would have believed if they were not caught on camera. Guy escaped anaconda. Who is unaware of the massive size of an anaconda? I'm sure this guy. That's why he thought to mess up with this huge serpent. This boy was captured by a giant anaconda and would not have survived if the other man wasn't there. The anaconda had wrapped itself tightly around the boy, and he was struggling to get out of its grip. Luckily, the man helped him and was able to get him free from a lethal end. Tiger shark attacked kayaker.
Tiger shark!
Earlier this year, an adventurous fisherman kayaking off windward Oahu had an extremely close encounter with a tiger shark. He was just a few miles away from the beach when his life flashed before his eyes. While kayaking, he noticed a brownish creature heading towards his boat and thought it was a turtle. But just when it took out its huge and horrific mouth, the creature turned out to be a large tiger shark that appeared to be the length of the kayak and bit the side of the boat, narrowly missing his foot. Thankfully, the kayaker remained unharmed, and the shark eventually swam away. Close call with an alligator. Catching an alligator is not something I would want to do, but this man had the courage of trying to catch one. The guy had put a rope around the alligator to catch it, and just as he tried to pull it out, the alligator shook his whole boat and made him fall in the water.
Right up here to your right. Oh.
Well, it certainly showed him who the boss is. Thankfully, he didn't become a meal for that alligator and was not hurt at all. Man escaped shark attack. This man is lucky to be alive after a shark nearly took a bite out of him. While cage diving off the Gold Coast in Australia, a young diver had a terrific encounter with a monster shark. The 10-foot-long tiger shark got way too close to him and almost took his leg off. He used the cage in his hand to scare off the predator and quickly climbed back to the boat. Otherwise, the hungry shark would have chewed him within no seconds. Man escaped a bitter end. Just as we think swimming would be a peaceful experience, nature reminds us of otherwise. This man was swimming into the pond when an alligator attacked him at full speed, but at the end, it decided to let him go. The man swam to the shore and was safe from the alligator, but it would have been better to get away from the water. The gator was just standing still in its place, as if to make sure that the guy gets out. It's a miracle he walked out of this attack on his own and lived to tell the tale. Tuna splashed crazily on beach. I'm sure these kids will never visit the beach again.
Oh my God! Run!
No, it's not a shark. But this time, another creature from the deep sea decided to surprise the beachgoers after splashing crazily in the shallow waters. At first, people assumed it to be a shark attack, but later it turned out to be a massive tuna fish that caused chaos with its strange behavior, and after splashing near the beach, it turned back to the ocean. Octopus stuck on man's face. What would you do in such a sticky situation? While exploring the Sea of Olympiada, a young diver came across an over-friendly octopus that immediately attached its tentacles to his face and started sucking against his skin. Thankfully, he was wearing pool goggles that protected him from the fatal tentacles. With a little vision, the diver came up to breathe and to weaken the octopus's strength. He carefully peeled off the sticky creature, but it refused to go and stuck to his legs. However, after several attempts, he managed to get rid of it and placed the octopus back into the sea. Elephant seal bumped into a scuba diver. A close encounter with an elephant seal doesn't always end well, but this guy was lucky enough to walk out of it completely unharmed. The scuba diver got very excited to see an elephant seal for the first time. Unfortunately, the seal didn't feel the same way. When the scuba diver got close enough, the seal came out of the water with its mouth wide open and was going for a bite on his face. The diver defended himself with his GoPro stick and was able to walk out with just a bent GoPro stick and no physical harm. Bear chased people. Alright, note to self. Bears can get on roofs! These guys were chased by a grizzly bear, one of the vicious apex predators. It really seems hungry to me. Luckily, no one was hurt during this incident, and the people were good at running for their life. Toddler avoided snake. Toddlers seem to have some kind of special power of walking out of bizarre situations. This girl is a legend. She was running with her sister when she walked past a snake without even knowing it. The snake was just passing by and got entangled in her feet. It didn't have any intention of attacking the girl, so it simply goes away and does not hurt her. But this girl definitely walked away from a deadly situation. Hippo bumped into a boat. What shook this boat so hard? Was it some kind of monster? Because it would require a lot of force to do so. Well, it turns out it was just a hippo reminding these guys that they are in his territory. Thank God they made it out of this attack alive and were not harmed at all. After that, they were just casually going back to fishing. If I was there, I'd tell you I'd still be in shock like the other guy. Tiger sudden attack on Jeep. You might be thinking there's nothing in that tall grass, but beware, as apex predators can hide in it perfectly and attack when the right time comes. A tiger was hiding in these tall bushes, and the tourists had no idea about it. Suddenly, the big cat charges at the Jeep with full intention to get one person, but the people started shouting and scared it off. The tiger did not succeed in its quest, and no one was hurt by it. Shark bumped into surfboat. Seeing a shark in the water and getting bumped into one are two entirely different things. Let's take a review. This guy was on a paddleboard and was enjoying the day when suddenly he collided with a breaching shark and instantly disappeared into the water after falling down. The unexpected collision might have confused the shark, providing the guy another day to live. Leopard launched a tourist car. Just imagine driving to your location and suddenly a leopard wants to come with you. A tourist car was going on its routine drive when a leopard decided that it wanted to go too. The leopard jumped over a gate and directly launched at the car.
What would have happened if the window had been open?
These people were saved because their windows were closed. If they'd left their windows open, it surely would have been a bad sight. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. Moose charged a lady. Snowmobile rides can be fun and thrilling, but it can get dangerous if you encounter a disoriented and sick moose. A couple enjoying their snowmobile ride came across an aggressive moose. At first, it seemed like it would go away, but it suddenly began charging. But they both managed to keep their calm and escape the striking elk. The lady, after maintaining a safe distance, shot in the air and scared off the huge animal. This forced the animal to turn tail and run away, and they both were saved from being finished off. Anaconda strike. This is exactly what happens when you try to annoy someone for no reason.
Shit.
This anaconda was minding its own business when a guy decided to bother him by poking a stick into its resting face. Generally, anacondas don't attack humans, but if provoked, they will show their gruesome side. And this is exactly what this giant serpent did here. Let's slow down the clip. See how huge these ferocious jaws are. I don't know about you, but this moment literally gave me a jump scare. Crocodile jumped into the boat. Would you ever allow this alligator on your boat? A couple, while enjoying their boat ride, came across a crocodile. The river monster was minding its own business, but just as it saw someone filming it, it tried to get on the boat. The cameraman was certainly shocked to see this. Maybe the crocodile wanted to see how the video was, or it might just not like getting filmed. But either way, the couple was safe and had not been harmed by it. Snake attacked camera. Snakes are very mean to any person that tries to catch them, and they do not hesitate in attacking them with their venomous fangs. This snake was captured by some people, and it certainly wasn't happy about this. So it attacked the camera and gave the message, "Get off my back." The snake intended to tell everyone watching the video to stay away from it and all the other snakes. Alligator charged kayaker. This kayaker was going on with his casual journey through the swamp, but this day he had a surprise waiting for him. Did you see that? What was it? Let's have another look. The kayaker was hit by an alligator who wanted to remind him that he was in its territory. He was turned over in the water, but still remained calm and handled the situation properly. Luckily, the alligator did not have the intention to make a meal out of him, and he escaped safely. Golfer attacked by kangaroo. Some people are not very fond of golf, and this kangaroo definitely agrees with them. These golfers were enjoying their day when an angry kangaroo decided to knock one of them. The golfer confronted him with his golf club, but it just made the kangaroo more agitated. The guy fell down, making him vulnerable to a severe attack. The video ended abruptly, so it's unclear what happened next. But later, it was claimed that the man was timely rescued and the angry animal was made to return to its wild habitat. Diamondback rattlesnake bite lady.
That is a giant.
Imagine catching a giant snake and it almost bites you. Snakes are ruthless animals, and catching one requires a lot of courage. This young lady was on an adventure to catch smallmouth bass from the river. Little did she know that she would get to catch a diamondback rattlesnake. And although the snake is non-venomous, it can still bite humans. This girl had some scratches from the snake as it wanted to go back to its place. But other than that, she had no major injuries. Alligator asking for a lift. Apex predators are not always up to end humans. Sometimes they just need a lift. This tourist boat was roaming in a lake when they saw a huge alligator sitting in the tall grass. The driver decided to take it a bit closer, and to his surprise, the alligator hopped on the boat. Luckily, the gator was not in a mood for a nice afternoon meal and just wanted a lift. It got off the boat and into the water quickly, leaving everyone paused for a whole minute. I would have lost my breath in such a situation. Rhino topples safari jeep. Sometimes animals just don't like people roaming around safari and want some time alone. Maybe this is why this rhino charged on the jeep. The rhino ran after it and hit it with all of its force, toppling the jeep over. And then it just ran away from the scene. Even after the jeep toppled, no one was injured, and they were transported to another jeep. Diver fends off hammerhead. A hammerhead will not always ignore you. Sometimes these curious creatures can also show their grim side. Look at this pair of scuba divers, who could have become the meal of this ferocious predator if they didn't take a timely decision. This scary encounter was filmed a few years back, when these two divers mistakenly dove into an area of hammerheads. Since hammerheads are highly territorial, it must have mistaken those guys as a threat and decided to smash them. However, thanks to their spear gun and level-headed thinking, they avoided the brutal attack and got rescued by the nearby boat. Monster Gator.
Whoa! Open up. There you go.
Would you dare to feed a giant monster gator? This is Buddy, the biggest alligator in Gatorland, and it loves getting treats. The man can be seen feeding it without any problem and treats it like a pet. But I don't think every person would love to give it treats. I would definitely be terrified by its size. Shark Bite Jet Ski. Either kayaking, swimming, or jet skiing. Once in the ocean, anything can happen. This young jet skier enjoying his ride was joined by a 10-foot-long bull shark. Watching the shark sparked his excitement, so he decided to do circles around it, unaware of the fact that a bull shark will take no time in tearing him up. Just when he tried to bother the shark, it took a quick turn and bumped into the jet skier. Although he escaped a horrific end, before swimming away, the shark took a bite out of his jet ski as a lesson to never annoy someone too much. Underwater attack. This might be the scariest close call you'll ever watch. After filling their bag with a lot of fish, just when the spearfishers thought to go back, they noticed two large sharks moving towards them. But before one of those predators took a bite out of the diver, he quickly offered him the fish bag. After grabbing the bag full of treats, the shark swiftly swam away, leaving the shocked divers completely unharmed. Spearfishing gone wrong. Sharks are not just the apex predators, they are really good at stealing other snacks. During an underwater spearfishing, a yellowfin tuna with a pole spear suddenly got out of control and tried to break free. This attracted the hungry Galapagos sharks, already hunting for food, putting the guy in serious danger. The sneakers tried to steal his hunt, but when he didn't let them do so, they both turned toward him. The guy managed to keep himself and his catch safe by scaring off the sharks. The predators kept on chasing him until he got out of the water along with his catch. Young diver break free. An adventurous fishing trip of an Australian family turned into a horrific experience after an 8-year-old member of this family had a close call with a shark. Just when the excited little boy placed his huge catch on the boat, a shark lunged at the boy and almost bit him. However, the boy was timely rescued without getting any serious injury. Great white chewed metal cage. Have you ever wondered how it feels to be almost eaten by a shark? A researcher from California during an underwater expedition had the scariest encounter of his life after a great white shark almost chewed the metal cage. While inside the cage, he spotted a hungry great white after grabbing a hooked fish and suddenly turned towards him and sunk its jaws down onto the cage, just a few inches from his face. But luckily, the metal bar was too strong to be chewed, so the predator had to get off just after losing one of its teeth. Diver met an octopus. This might be a breath-holding diving experience, at least for this diver. While exploring the Sea of Japan, a scuba diver got the biggest shock of his life after a creepy cephalopod tried to give him a warm hug using all of its legs. The octopus latched onto the diver's body and tried to bite down on him. The diver desperately made several attempts to shake the octopus off his feet, but the excited octopus kept wrapping around his limbs. However, when the clinging technique didn't work for this 8-legged creature, it eventually decided to give up and swam back to the depths below. Shark bite boat propeller. Thankfully, these guys were on a boat, otherwise they might have ended up inside the shark's jaws.
Oh my God. Get out of town.
Filmed last year in May, A crew out fishing felt someone powerful bumping into their boat. What they assumed to be a large whale turned out to be a huge shark that appeared out of nowhere and held the vessel's propeller. It almost chomped down the boat and tried to destroy it completely. The group didn't lose their calm though and tried to scare off the hungry predator. In the end, the vicious predator gave up and let the terrified crew continue their journey. Killer whale bumped into a boat. These adorable mammals are not aggressive towards humans, but anyone invading their space would be the ultimate threat to them. A group of sailors, while heading towards the Canary Islands, were stuck in a bizarre situation when an angry orca decided to stop them in the middle of their journey. After bumping into the boat, the killer whale began tearing off the boat's rudder and eventually broke it off. The situation got even worse when it bit off both rudders. But those sailors were lucky as they managed to escape with the rudderless boat and avoided a bitter end. Orca versus paddleboard. Here, another orca decided to give a paddleboarder the biggest shock of his life after following him in the middle of the ocean. We all know orcas don't eat humans, but still, it must have been scary knowing the decision was entirely left up to the orca whether the human was going to get flung into the air or left alone. So this one decided to just give him a thrilling thrust and continue to look out for other prey. Great white bites boat. When entering the ocean, consider yourself on the top of the food chain.
Woo, there it is! Oh my god!
Here, another group of adventurous fishermen was reeling in their catch when all of a sudden, a great white emerged from the ocean and started swimming around them. In doing so, it got too close to the boat that it almost took a bite from it. Thankfully, no one was harmed, and it also didn't cause any damage to the boat. Lady escaped seal bite. What would you do if someone disturbed you from a nice sleep? Most probably shout at or hit the person, right? Well, animals also don't like to be bothered. This seal was having a nice time just lying by itself when the girl decided to get a nice photo. Just as she touches the seal, it gets furious at her. If she had not run from there on time, who knows what that seal would have done to her. So, if you ever see a seal resting, do not disturb it. Clueless surfer. Imagine you are floating on your back in super calm water, and suddenly a shark comes out of nowhere and starts swimming just below you. Such a horrific moment was recorded off the coast of Florida, where a man was seen floating calmly on his back, totally unaware of a 10-foot-long hammerhead circling the clueless guy. The swimmer was lucky because the hammerhead itself took no interest in him and eventually swam off, leaving the guy unharmed. Leaping croc. Have you ever seen a crocodile flying out of the water? If you haven't, then get ready to be amazed. In the video, we can see some guys offering a nice juicy piece of meat to a crocodile and then taking it away from it. The crocodile literally jumps completely out of the water to get it. If this was not recorded, I would have never believed the story of a croc leaping out of the water like this. Seal attacked beachgoers. Seals are also called pups of the ocean because they're often seen as cute and harmless, but they can also attack people. This seal was seen charging beachgoers for unknown reasons. It first tried to bite a young boy who was rescued by the people around him, and everyone was warned to go out of the water. After this, the seal goes on to attack a girl who could not get out of the water on time. The girl was also saved on time, and no one was harmed. Sea otter stole surfer's boat. Would you believe it if someone told you they were robbed by a sea otter? As funny and unbelievable as it might sound, it does actually happen. This guy had plans of surfing, which were then sabotaged by a curious sea otter. It must have seen everyone surfing and wanted to give it a try itself. The sea otter first tried to snatch the surfboard and then climbed over it like it was his own. It then started inspecting the board to make sure it was safe for surfing. The guy had no option but to let it do its stuff and stood by watching it. Luckily, the curious otter did not harm the guy, and once its inspection was done, it simply swam away. Angry hippo chases boat. You can never expect a boring trip to Africa. The animals there alone will give you something to remember. A safari jeep was chased by an angry hippo when it got too close to its comfort zone. The hippo chased them away until they'd not gone away from its pond. And when they were gone, it simply went back to rest. It didn't mean any harm to the people. But I mean, I don't blame the hippo. If anyone would enter my comfort zone, I'd chase them away just like this too. Harrowing shark attack. This guy was lucky to live to tell his tale after a harrowing shark attack. He was spearfishing in the Bahamas when a 7-foot-long reef shark suddenly came out of nowhere and tried to bite him. However, he managed to avoid the fatal attack by quickly bowing down his head. The shark swiftly passed on, but not before leaving him with a few scratches on his neck. Angry rhino charged car. Have you ever taken your anger out by smashing things? It looks like animals also do this. This rhino simply had a bad day and wanted to take it out on something. The white car was just on the road, and most probably, the people in it didn't do anything to agitate the animal. It still charged on the car with full force and completely shook it. It was gonna go for a second blow, but we don't know why it changed its mind. No one was harmed by this attack except the car. Girl almost hit by an angry bison. We just want to pet anything we find cute, but it's important to consider getting the consent of that animal too. This poor lady simply wanted to pet the bison, and it clearly showed it doesn't want that. It swirled his head aggressively, and the woman walked out of something that could have ended quite badly for her. She ran as far as possible from the bison and did not have even a single scratch on her. Bison smashed car window. Bison are huge, majestic animals, and they have pretty strong horns. And you'll see how strong they can actually be. These people had stopped their car to let the folk of Bison pass by peacefully. But little did they know they were standing in the wrong spot. A bison ran straight into their car, breaking their windshield and putting a huge dent on their wallets. Other than the car, no one was injured in this close encounter. The guy and his young son could be seen swimming with a huge anaconda poking out its head on the surface, just behind the clueless father. Although these reptiles are non-venomous and typically shy, if provoked, they can easily crush up humans via constriction. However, there's no such documented proof of an anaconda ending a man and his son. So, it could be anything, from a thrilling movie trailer to an actual horrific encounter. Well, whatever the situation is, you guys can tell us your thoughts in the comments section. However, while searching for it, I did stumble upon this anaconda-proof suit constructed to survive the coiling snake. Literally an amazing outfit to avoid muscular constriction. One should get such a suit to avoid the brutal end that might ensue if an anaconda truly does attack a human. Kangaroo crashed into cyclist. Sometimes life just hits you out of nowhere. This cyclist was casually going on her routine route and minding her own business when a kangaroo bumped into her while crossing the road. It certainly didn't learn road crossing rules. Luckily, she didn't have any major injuries, but did have to get minor stitches for a knee injury. Next time you go out for a nice bike ride, make sure you look out for a kangaroo. Man survived ostrich attack. Next time you think of going near an ostrich, think twice, because they could land directly on you. A guy minding his own business was troubled by a crazy big bird. An ostrich began charging at the poor guy and got on top of him. making him fall to the ground. Luckily, there were other people there, so he was saved from this vicious strike. But he barely made it out alive. Bear climb tree. This hiker looked like a tasty meal to the bear, so the guy started climbing the tree to escape it. But looks like bears can climb trees too. Luckily, it got tired of the chase and decided to look for some easier prey. Man escaped snakebite. Just imagine going in your backyard and then bam! A snake is there to welcome you. If you think that won't happen, I'd say consider its possibility. This guy barely went into his backyard and was greeted by a snake. Luckily, he escaped a snake bite, and by the looks of it, he certainly ain't going there again. Elephant almost hit safari jeep. Anything is possible in the safari world. Even though we don't expect elephants to strike, that doesn't mean they can't charge. We don't know what they did to make it so agitated, but this giant elephant was ready to stomp the golf cart under its feet. The driver luckily maintained his cool and showed off his top driving skills. Saved everyone from a bitter end. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.